Hey, what's up, everybody? I got a question here from Facebook. This is a practitioner that's helping people quit smoking, and I'm thrilled to dive into this. There's some real gold here. So the question is, I just finished with a quit smoking client. He argued with me about the addiction to nicotine versus the habit. And I used the explanation of addiction to hard drugs as in my pre-talk about doses and time intervals. He told me that he feels symptoms when he stops smoking. I told him it was his subconscious mind firing off the fight or flight response, as that part of him wants him to smoke. What else should I have told him? There's so many amazing things to get into here. So first off, I want to say, uh, fantastic. You're seeing people. That's the real path to mastery. You're on the path. This is where all the real learning is going to come from. So that's awesome. Fantastic work. I would say, so at a high level, this question is basically, there's a belief that you need to convince this person that this is a habit, and in doing so, it's going to make it easier for them to make the decision to walk away from smoking forever and stay committed to it, take responsibility. Sure, that's great. I would say I don't actually care, me personally. It's just how I work with people. I don't care if they think it's a habit or an addiction or a combination of the two, right? Because if we were to follow sort of Virginia Satir's idea that the presenting problem isn't the actual problem, it wouldn't matter anyway, right? Because the cigarettes are just like the presenting thing. So what we want to tackle to empower this person to the ultimate degree would be the thing that's underneath the surface that's keeping them stuck. But let's break this down. Let me get a little bit more contextual because I want to bring as much value as I can here. So if it comes to, I've had people hire me because they believe they're addicted, and it's a massive motivator for them. They're ready to run through a wall. They're going to pay my fee. They're going to sacrifice their time. They don't have any idea what's going to happen, but they're desperate to be free of this thing. And sure, I could spend 15, 20, 30 minutes convincing them that it's a habit, but I'm not sure what that's going to do to their motivation, right? Ultimately, they want to walk away from this thing. They just feel stuck with it. And so, look, I'm not saying don't work that way. I definitely have used that in the past, and I've been successful with it. But I think this is, it just, I don't think it's, I can save a lot of time by not doing it. And, heck, if someone, if the belief was I'm addicted, so therefore I can't quit, I would just point to the 1.3 million people that quit every year that are using the same substance that you do, right? You could, so no matter what they say, you can kind of point to a counterexample, and you don't need to do much more than just imply some doubt there. Or you just have to loosen that up a little bit, that conclusion that they have. I think it's great. It's nice to have an idea in mind for how to begin to shift their thinking, because ultimately that's what's going to do the trick. But I can give you an example. In a session recently, so actually two sessions, this came up. Both folks said, I just feel like it has a hold of me in terms of smoking. And I said, what do you mean? What do you mean specifically? And come to find out, what they meant by that was, I'm planning my day around it. I'm going to go. I'm going to be on the road for a while. I better smoke now, but then I got to take care of the smell because I don't want my car to smell. And then I want to get there, and like, am I going to have time to smoke when I'm there? So this is what they meant by it just has a hold of me. And all I'm doing is curiously listening, pay attention to what they're saying. And, eventually your instincts kick in. And I said something along the lines of, it actually sounds like you have a hold of it. And the first lady, I knew I really had something with her because she didn't even acknowledge the question, and she went on to talk about something else. And I thought, this is great. That's a good indicator, right? We hit some kind of a resistance there. And so I found another way to say it. I can't remember what it was. I said, well, so you're saying you spend all your time planning when you can smoke. So it sounds like you have a hold of it. And I just kind of repeated back what she said and went back to the question. It took 3 or 4 different attempts. And she just went inward, what we would describe as like almost like a total body catalepsy, and went there, and paused and really went inward. And said, so what's going on? And she said, I feel a bit embarrassed. I said, well, about what? Well, I've been smoking for 40 years and I never really realized all this time how obvious it was. I've been in control. I've had a hold of it. And the other person, that question landed right away, and she had the same type of reflection, deep reflection, inward focus, and she said, I said, so what's happening? And she said, I feel really empowered. I go, why is that? Because I'm in control. So, two completely different outcomes, same question. They're different people, So I wouldn't assume, this is just to sort of highlight the point that I wouldn't assume that in all cases you need to do anything, let alone convince someone this is a habit versus an addiction. So there's one more thing I really want to talk about here, and it's what else should I have told them? This is great. So I think you might intuit this a little bit, but I'm much less interested in what I say to somebody versus what they sort of discover in a session. So we can think about it like this, like there's all the stuff that I'm going to cover with them, and I don't think that's as impactful or as important as what they discover about themselves, specifically in relation to this problem. And I'm talking about the one underneath the surface. This is where all the deep empowerment comes from. They start getting in touch with new resources unconsciously, and they start to just sort of see the whole thing differently. And now it's like the smoking just kind of goes away. They understand themselves differently. They understand the problem differently. And so I hope that makes sense with the examples I gave earlier. Sure, we could look at, like, if we want to list the things that matter for smoking cessation. I don't know that habit versus addiction, we would rank that very high. I think it does give you kind of a foothold to get in there and to start to shift some beliefs about things. But like fundamentally what this is going to come down to is like choice, commitment, taking responsibility, some discipline, things like that. And again, it is different for everybody, so I don't want to speak too universal about it, but those seem to be like attributes that manifest in one way or another to empower people to make a new choice. These are the types of things that I see that I would say are more paramount. So as long as you're getting that, they can have whatever belief they want about the nature of their problem. They don't know anyway, right? At the end of the day, that's a conscious explanation for something that's happening deep within them in the unconscious mind. So, that's like, it's kind of a guess anyway. I'm not gonna spend time working on their guesses. So please comment below if you have any questions or you want me to clarify anything I talked about. If you want to learn more, just comment below, subscribe, like the video, all that stuff, so we can continue to have this channel grow. Look, folks, take care. I hope you have a great day. I hope you took something away of value here. Bye, everybody.